Over 70% of automatic transmission failures don't happen because the car is old. They happen because the driver uses it wrong. Seemingly harmless habits like shifting gears before the car stops, riding the brakes downhill, or driving aggressively every day are quietly killing your transmission from the inside. The problem is, most drivers don't realize it until the transmission starts slipping, jerking, or throwing warning lights. In this video, we'll talk about 13 of the most common habits that wear out your automatic transmission, and how to drive correctly to keep it smooth and durable and save thousands in repair costs. Subscribe to the channel to get notified of the latest videos. Bull 1. Not engaging the parking brake when parked. Many people think that simply shifting into P makes the car completely safe, but that's a big misconception. When you park without using the parking brake, the entire weight of the car, which can be several tons, presses on a small metal pin inside the transmission called the parking pawl. This pin's only job is to lock the drive shaft once the vehicle is already stationary, not to hold the whole car on a slope. Imagine parking on a slight incline. Even just a few degrees of tilt means gravity is pulling thousands of pounds of steel against that tiny pin. If someone bumps the car or you forget the parking brake, the car can jerk forward and that force transfers straight into the transmission. A few times like that, and the pawl can wear out, chip, or even break, costing you thousands to repair or rebuild the transmission. The correct way is simple. Keep your foot on the brake, pull the parking brake first, and then shift to P. That allows the parking brake to hold the car's weight while the pawl only locks things lightly. This habit is especially important when parking on a slope or when someone stays inside the car. Skipping the parking brake doesn't just damage the transmission, it also risks the car rolling unexpectedly, which can be dangerous near curbs or driveways. 2. Ignoring transmission warning signs. Automatic transmissions rarely fail suddenly. They almost always give you warning signs first. The problem is, most drivers don't pay attention. When your car starts shifting slower, makes a faint clunk, or you smell something burning after a few minutes of driving, that's not nothing. It's your transmission calling for help, signaling that the fluid may be dirty, the hydraulic pressure unstable, or the internal clutch is slipping. But most people shrug it off, thinking, it's just a small hiccup, until the car eventually won't shift at all. When the check engine or transmission warning light turns on, many drivers still keep going. In reality, fixing the issue early can cut repair costs by up to 50%. But if you wait too long, the fluid burns, the clutches wear out, and metal shavings spread through the valve body, turning a simple fix into a full rebuild. Remember, the transmission is extremely sensitive. Just one stuck solenoid or a bad speed sensor can throw off the entire shifting process. 3. Installing oversized or mismatched tires. A lot of car owners think upgrading to bigger tires or replacing only 2 tires is harmless, but it's actually one of the main reasons automatic transmissions and drivetrains wear out over time. When your tires are larger or uneven in size, the gear ratio between the engine and wheels changes. The transmission has to stay in lower gears longer, work harder, and run hotter than designed. Over time, the fluid loses its lubricating properties, and internal parts start to wear and slip. For all-wheel drive, AWD vehicles, the problem is even worse. When the 4 tires differ in size or tread wear, they spin at slightly different speeds. The center differential and transfer case constantly have to compensate, creating extra stress on internal clutches and gears. This generates more heat, darkens the fluid, and shortens component life dramatically. The fix is simple. Keep all 4 tires matched in both size and tread wear. When replacing tires, do all 4 at once, or make sure the remaining 2 are rotated evenly with similar wear. And if you want larger tires for looks, make sure to adjust the gear ratio and recalibrate the speed sensors accordingly. 4. Driving with low or dirty transmission fluid. Transmission fluid is the blood of your drivetrain. Yet many drivers completely forget about it. They check the engine oil regularly, but almost never touch the transmission fluid. When the fluid level is low or the fluid is dirty, lubrication drops, friction increases, and internal temperatures rise quickly. Dirty fluid is like hot sludge. It no longer protects the components properly, causing clutches, hydraulic valves, and gears to wear down from the inside. When the fluid level drops too low, hydraulic pressure decreases, leading to delayed shifts, mild jerks, or slipping gears. Leave it that way long enough, and the clutches will burn, metal particles will spread throughout the system, clogging solenoids and causing major faults. The result? Overheating and total transmission failure within just a few hundred miles. Preventing this is simple. Check your transmission fluid every month if your car has a dipstick, or follow the maintenance schedule if it doesn't. If the fluid looks dark or smells burnt, replace it immediately. 5. Forgetting to replace transmission fluid and filter regularly. Many car owners remember to change their engine oil on schedule, but they forget that the transmission also needs regular maintenance. Transmission fluid doesn't just lubricate, it also cools, transfers hydraulic pressure, and enables smooth gear shifting. After tens of thousands of miles, the fluid oxidizes, thickens, and accumulates metal shavings from internal wear. The filter gradually clogs up, restricting fluid flow. When that happens, the transmission starts to shift slowly, jerk slightly, or slip, especially after long drives or in hot conditions. Old fluid loses its lubricating ability, causing the clutches and hydraulic valves to heat up faster and generate more friction. Before long, you'll start to smell something burning. If you keep driving, debris buildup in the valve body can jam the solenoids, causing incorrect shifts or preventing the car from going into gear at all. Automatic transmissions are extremely sensitive to fluid quality. Skipping even one scheduled fluid change can significantly shorten their lifespan. Replace the fluid and filter every 30,000 to 60,000 miles, or as recommended by your manufacturer. Pause for 3 seconds and hit the subscribe button to catch the latest videos. 6. Resting your hand on the gear lever while driving. Many drivers rest their hand on the gear lever because it feels comfortable, especially on long trips. But this seemingly harmless habit actually causes hidden damage to the transmission. Even a light touch applies pressure to the linkage and control shafts inside the shifter assembly. These components are designed only to move briefly when changing gears, not to handle constant pressure. Over time, that small force wears out the bushings and detents, making the shifter loose and imprecise, or even misaligned. In modern electronic shifters, continuous pressure can interfere with the gear position sensor, triggering a check transmission warning or causing the car to misread drive, neutral, or reverse modes. The fix is simple. Keep both hands on the steering wheel in proper driving position. Only touch the gear lever when you actually need to shift modes. This habit not only keeps your reactions sharp in sudden situations, but also prevents unnecessary wear on the transmission. 7. Shifting from R to D or vice versa before coming to a full stop. This is a mistake many drivers make every day, switching from reverse to drive before the car has fully stopped. The most common example is backing out of a parking space while the car is still rolling, then quickly shifting into drive to move forward. That small action forces the transmission to reverse its rotation direction while the wheels are still moving the other way. A massive mechanical shock to the drivetrain. Inside an automatic transmission are multiple planetary gears and clutch packs, all designed to rotate in one direction in sync. When you shift while the car is still moving, the wheel's momentum sends torque backward into the transmission, forcing those gears to change direction instantly. The result is friction, clutch slip, and metal-to-metal impact, chipping gear teeth, burning clutches, and, in severe cases, bending shafts or breaking pins. The correct method is very simple. Always come to a complete stop before changing direction. Keep your foot on the brake until the car is fully still, then shift to D or R. 1 second of patience can save you thousands of dollars in repairs and keep your transmission shifting smoothly for years. 8. Using the wrong or mixed transmission fluid. Many people think transmission fluid is just transmission fluid, so they pick something similar or mix types to top off the level. But for automatic transmissions, that's an extremely dangerous mistake. Each type of ATF, automatic transmission fluid, is formulated with specific viscosity, additives, and heat resistance for particular transmission designs. Using the wrong type or mixing two different fluids can trigger chemical reactions that create foam, alter friction, and break down the protective film inside the transmission. Once the fluid loses its intended properties, the transmission begins to shift sluggishly, jerk, or slip. Over time, the hydraulic valves, clutch packs, and solenoids wear out faster, leading to overheating and major failure. According to many reports, using the wrong fluid is one of the leading causes of premature automatic transmission failure. 9. Riding the brakes while going downhill. Many drivers keep their foot lightly on the brake pedal the entire time when driving downhill, thinking it's safer that way. In reality, this habit puts continuous strain on both the braking system and the transmission, wearing them out faster than you think. When the car is in drive and you rely only on the brakes to control speed, the transmission doesn't get to share the braking load with the engine. As a result, the brakes heat up quickly, the brake fluid can boil, and the transmission also overheats because the fluid has to handle extra stress. Some modern automatic transmissions have an engine braking mode when you shift into a lower gear like L or 2. In that mode, the engine helps slow the car down, reducing the load on the brakes and keeping temperature stable. If you stay in D and constantly ride the brakes, both the brakes and the transmission are under stress at the same time, and just one long downhill drive can be enough to darken the transmission fluid and degrade its lubrication properties. The right way: downshift before you start descending and use short, intermittent braking to maintain a steady speed. Don't let your transmission absorb excess heat because of the habit of holding the brakes. Firm, brief brake applications combined with engine braking will keep you safer, protect your brakes, and extend your transmission's lifespan. 10. Flooring the gas pedal while the car is stationary. A very common mistake is flooring the gas pedal while the car is still standing still, often to test the engine, hear the sound, or launch faster. But this seemingly harmless move is actually a severe mechanical shock to the automatic transmission. When the car is in drive, the engine spins fast while the wheels are still locked. All that torque is absorbed by the torque converter and clutch packs, components not designed to handle sudden loads when the vehicle isn't moving. When you suddenly release the gas pedal, that stored energy transfers violently from the torque converter into the transmission, causing clutch slip, abnormal stress on the planetary gears, and instant fluid overheating. If you want a stronger launch, apply the throttle gradually as the car begins to roll instead of revving and releasing suddenly. Smooth acceleration allows the transmission to transfer power evenly, keeps the fluid cooler, and helps the whole system last longer. That one rev and dump might sound exciting, but it can easily shave tens of thousands of miles off your transmission's life. 11. Towing heavy loads without activating tow mode. Many pickup and SUV drivers know their vehicles can tow, yet forget to enable tow mode when hauling trailers, carrying heavy cargo, or climbing long grades. They assume engine power alone is enough, but in reality, the automatic transmission takes most of the punishment when towing without this mode. Tow mode doesn't just change shift points, it also increases line pressure, optimizes torque delivery, and holds lower gears longer to reduce stress on the drivetrain. When towing heavy loads without tow mode, the transmission constantly shifts to maintain speed, causing the clutch packs and torque converter to work overtime. Transmission fluid temperatures can rise to 250 degrees Cs, over 120 degrees Celsius, and once it exceeds 220 degrees Celsius, the fluid's lifespan is cut in half. As the fluid breaks down, metal parts begin to rub directly against each other, wearing out rapidly, slipping, and leaving debris inside the valve body. If your vehicle has tow mode, activate it before you start towing or climbing. If it doesn't, manually select a lower gear to prevent constant shifting. And if you tow frequently, consider adding an auxiliary transmission cooler. It's one of the most effective ways to keep your transmission healthy under load. 12. Driving too aggressively, constant hard acceleration and braking. Many drivers have the habit of accelerating hard and then braking sharply, especially when they're in a hurry or enjoy that sporty feeling. But for an automatic transmission, this driving style is like forcing the entire drivetrain to lift weights nonstop. Every time you floor the gas and then slam the brakes, the hydraulic pressure inside the transmission changes abruptly. The clutch packs and torque converter have to work at full capacity to keep up with the rapid speed changes. This creates friction, heat, and accelerated clutch wear, several times faster than with smooth driving. When you accelerate aggressively, the transmission holds lower gears longer, causing fluid temperatures to rise quickly. When you brake hard, the reverse torque slams into the planetary gear sets, forcing them to absorb sudden directional stress. Repeat this cycle often enough and the clutches burn, the fluid turns dark, and the control valves start sticking. The best approach is to accelerate gradually, brake firmly but smoothly, and maintain steady RPMs. Gentle driving isn't just safer, it also helps the transmission operate as intended, stay smooth, and last much longer. 13. Driving with the fuel tank nearly empty. A lot of drivers let the low fuel warning light stay on for days, thinking, I still have a few miles left. In reality, driving with a nearly empty tank is one of the most damaging habits for both the fuel system and the automatic transmission. The fuel pump is designed to stay submerged in gasoline, which keeps it cool and lubricated. When the fuel level drops too low, the pump starts sucking air along with fuel, causing it to overheat and run dry. But it doesn't stop there. A weak or overheating fuel pump delivers inconsistent fuel pressure, which throws off the engine's air-fuel mixture and disrupts overall operating temperatures. In many vehicles, the transmission fluid is cooled indirectly through the radiator, so when the engine overheats, the transmission suffers as well. The simplest way to avoid this is to always keep at least a quarter tank of fuel. This ensures the fuel pump stays cool, the engine runs smoothly, and the transmission maintains its ideal operating temperature. An automatic transmission can easily last hundreds of thousands of miles when used correctly, but just a few small habits, like shifting before stopping, skipping fluid changes, or running low on fuel, can wear it out early and cost thousands in repairs. Drive smoothly, service it on time, and respect the car's design. That's the simplest way to keep your transmission healthy, your shift smooth, and your entire drivetrain lasting for years. Did this video help you out? Hit subscribe and help us reach 20,000 subscribers.